Why, hello there. Welcome to my humble studio. How's it going, guys? LightDark here. Okay, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. As some of my OG followers have noticed, I've loved Kingdom Hearts my whole life. And since this year is the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, I decided to do a little retelling of how Kingdom Hearts has influenced my life. I was around 7. My cousins tended to bring their PS2s to my grandma's house. One day the oldest cousin brought the wonderful game that is Kingdom Hearts, and the moment I got my hands on the game, I knew I wanted it. So like the child I was, I constantly bombarded my parents with, I want it, I need it, I yearn for it. And eventually, they got me the game. I remember I was doing homework when Dad suddenly came back from work with the game in hand. And so Kingdom Hearts entered my life. I started playing it, and it was good until I couldn't get past Trickmaster and Stealth Sneak. So I shoved the game, then moved on. And I know what you're thinking. Really? You just gave up? Or really? Those bosses are easy. And no, not for a 7-year-old that didn't know how an RPG worked at the time. I didn't even know what a level up was. It was that bad. From time to time I dusted it off and played it, but the farthest I got was to Monstro, and well, we all know what a maze Monstro is. But I never finished it. Yet. So a few years after that, I went to a local Video Avenue, yes, I know, I miss it too, and found out that Kingdom Hearts had a sequel. And no, I didn't know that Chain of Memory was a thing at the moment. So I rented Kingdom Hearts 2, and this is what hooked me for the rest of my life. The game was far easier, and at the time I was starting to get into gaming more, so I was leveling up in my own way. But eventually, my parents bought it, and sometimes I had to face off with my bro to play it, but that's just proof of our shared love of Kingdom Hearts. So I played the game from start to finish, and man, so many questions. Especially since I didn't even finish the first game, let alone play Chain of Memories. Questions like, who is Roxas? And what is the organization? Where are the other members? Why was Sora sleeping? Kairi wearing panties? Shut up, you know you all did it too. The game was a blast. From the drive forms, the new worlds, and it ended so satisfying. The game was so intriguing that I decided to give it my all to finally finish the first game. And what better place to finish it than the place where it all began, my grandma's house. Since I spent my summers as a kid at her house, I started to bring along my PS2. And that's when I finally finished Kingdom Hearts 1. Okay, now, so this is where things get a little bit interesting. After the first and second game, there was an interesting time where things got weird for Kingdom Hearts, mostly because of the final mix versions that were exclusive only for Japan. The final mix versions had secret endings, and the secret ending for Kingdom Hearts 2 was rather dark. I remember watching it for the first time on the phone of a classmate's older brother. Try saying that 3 times. And I was just shocked. Just the image of Sora, Riku, and Mickey's Keyblade being in the middle of the Keyblade graveyard. Then there was the fight between Xehanort and the Wayward Trio. During this time, no one knew who Terra, Aqua, and Ventus were. So we just got this amazing battle between Keyblade wielders that ended with what I assumed at the time, Sora getting frozen and dropped down a 20-story cliff. And I know it wasn't Sora, but at the time, HD was not a thing, and well, Sora and Ventus are kinda the same, so yeah. So after that, the next game was announced, Chain of Memories, an amped up version of the original Game Boy game. As soon as I found out that they were releasing this game for the PS2, I did not hesitate in getting it. I went to a local GameStop, back when my island had GameStops. Those were the days. We miss you. Just so you know. Anywho, what made this game unique were the cards you had to use in order to fight. A new gimmick that was mostly thrashed, and I can see why. But nevertheless, I enjoyed the game, and in my opinion, it's one of the more fun games in the series. The story is one that falls on the darker sides of the series, with Sora losing his memory, getting then replaced by fake ones, and then falling into a 1-year coma to reclaim his lost memories. But nothing compares to... News of a game where you played as Roxas were surfacing, and and I was down for that. I remember getting the game at a Christmas party as an early Christmas gift. You could see my parents and uncles chatting and having fun as they just noticed me on the corner. My precious. My precious. I think this is when I started to suspect that I had a heavy addiction to Kingdom Hearts. But taking place alongside and a little bit over Chain of Memories, 358 was the tale and year of Roxas's time in the organization. It's also where they introduced the all-beloved Xion to the series. The game had a super cool story about friendship and how Roxas, Xion, and Axel's relationship grew. I was so stoked about the game I finished it in 3 days. And it's one of the first times I cried because of a video game. Having the game pin you against a character that you grew with throughout the whole story was intense, and it showed me just how deep Kingdom Hearts was willing to go. The game was incredible and one of my all-time favorites from the series. Like all great series, there should always be a space to learn a little bit about the past of a certain story. In other words, prequels. Taking place 10 years before the first Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep followed the story of Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, and now was like, the dudes from the secret movie! What I loved from this game was that it felt like 3 games in one. You played as each individual character, unlocking the point of view and the story of the trio. Exclusive at the time for PSP, I had to work very hard not just to get the game, but also a PSP to play it. You had no idea how many cars I had to wash. Eventually though, I got it. And after I got it, I got sick. So I ended up taking the game to the emergency room and started the campaign there. Needless to say that the game helped me recover. This game also kept its dark edgy theme, with Ventus ending up in a coma, Terra practically losing his body and soul and being lost to oblivion, and Aqua being trapped in the Kingdom Hearts equivalent of hell. There were rumors that a new Kingdom Hearts game was gonna release, but in Japan. Again. And in a cell phone? Yeah, this was in a time where mobile games weren't really a big thing like nowadays. But eventually, it was released on the DS. And finally, a new story after the second game. Almost. The game introduces a new concept in the Kingdom Hearts world, something known as Data, or the Data World. The story of this game follows a Data version of Sora journeying through Jiminy's journal to decipher the Thank Namine text, a text left behind by Namine during the Chain of Memory events. The game basically just explains that real-life Sora has to journey to try and save the other trios that have been lost throughout the whole Kingdom Hearts series. And it shows Mickey writing the letter that the gang received at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. The game was really easy, and I was just happy that we got a little something that continued the second game. The 10th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts came along, and I think most of us can remember it. I really can't believe it's been another 10 years already. So new rumors surfaced about a new Kingdom Hearts game called Kingdom Hearts 3D, or DDD. At first glance I thought, finally Kingdom Hearts 3! But no. At the 10th anniversary, they showed that it was a story before Kingdom Hearts 3, and it would revolve around Sora and Riku under Mark of Mastery test. This is one of my favorite titles for one specific reason. Parkour. The new flow motion mechanic was insane to me, and although it's OP, it's one of my favorite mechanics. And for some unknown reason, now there was time traveling in the story? Why, the story is already so complicated. I myself am still learning how it works here. When I got the game, I started to sneak it into my high school to try and 100% it, which eventually I did. During this time, I also met Kisara for the first time, and although noticing my crippling addiction to the Kingdom Hearts series, she became fast friends with me. We're still best friends up to this day. Crippling addiction and all, eventually we ended up playing a little bit of 358 multiplayer, which was super fun. From this point forward, there was a lack of Kingdom Hearts news for a while, and I have to take this moment to give thanks to you guys, the Kingdom Hearts community. You guys kept my hopes up during the times there was a lack of Kingdom Hearts news, and I really appreciate the content you guys made during these lackluster moments with no news at all. You guys are also part of the reason I'm making this video and are also the inspiration for making me start a channel in the first place. So to all of you, members of the Kingdom Hearts community, thank you. Remakes! With nothing else to push back Kingdom Hearts 3 and having collected every single game on every console, I was sure nothing else would come between me and Kingdom Hearts 3. I was so wrong. 1.5. a remastered version that included Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the PS2, and a movie about Kingdom Hearts 3 58 Days. Believe it or not, I was super excited for this because the Final Mix versions were finally coming to USA, and a few new goodies were added like the reaction command abilities from Kingdom Hearts 2. And a 358 movie? Heck yes! I usually played the game on beginner, but after this release, I went full on proud mode and also 100% each game. Eventually 2.5, which included Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep Final Mix, and a movie of Recoded with battle scenes. Wink wink, I see what you did there, Nomura, thank you for listening to us. Came out and same deal. I went on full proud mode and then I decided to level up and play the games on critical. You have no idea how annoying it is to lose against Lingering Will. Surprisingly though, when I fought him on critical, he was way more easier to win against. I guess that by that time I was reaching my ultimate Keyblade wielder form. Kingdom Hearts on mobile was gonna make a comeback, but first they released a new game, Kingdom Hearts Key, a PC Japan exclusive game that took place during the Keyblade War. Gotta give thanks to Everglow for translating the game for us. Eventually, the game was moved up to mobile, on Japan, of course. Us Westerns are peasants to the Japanese. And I ended up downloading that Japanese version through APK until the global version came out and I was able to create my OG Keyblade wielder, one of my biggest achievements with the series. The game was updated monthly and it kept us busy for a while. Also during this time I met Spubby for the first time. She also noticed how much I love Kingdom Hearts, and after showing her how exciting the series was, we also became fast friends. During these times I also met Nura, Sinister, and Aiden too. Kingdom Hearts 3 was starting to release its first trailers, and the world was great. We were starting to get news and updates for the long-awaited Kingdom Hearts 3. But in one particular banner, us fans saw something very scary, a rundown of something known as Kingdom Hearts 2.9. When I saw this, I started to feel my heart falling into darkness. Luckily, this disappeared into the void for a while, then suddenly something new came out. 2.8, the final trilogy that included a ported version of Kingdom Hearts 3D and a newly added back cover movie that showed the points of view of the foretellers from Key. But the cherry on top was 0.2, basically a demo for Kingdom Hearts 3 with Aqua. The girl was back. The demo was a continuation of Aqua's journey in the realm of darkness, and it also shows how Mickey lost his shirt at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, but with this game out, we were officially set, and we were just a year away from Kingdom Hearts 3. Before Kingdom Hearts released, it naturally released its trailers. One of the first things that they released that blew my mind was the artwork of Sora riding Baymax. Trailers started to drop left and right, and I think we can all agree the Toy Story trailer was a jaw-dropper. Seeing Sora, Donald, and Goofy interact with Woody and Buzz was incredible. Then seeing Captain Jack Sparrow back again was the cherry on top for me. I'm a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan, and that just blew my mind. When they said Kingdom Hearts 3 was gonna have a collector's edition, I didn't hesitate. I used my hard-earned cash on my very first collector's edition. Then, the time arrived. Since I pre-ordered the game from the Square Enix store, I got it a day early. I was just coming back from my shift at my old job in a supermarket, and when I arrived home, Mom said, "Look what just came in." It was finally here. I screamed. I didn't think twice. Wink wink. I took pics of the collector's edition and ran off to my room to play the game. As soon as the pre-intro rolled, I started to cry. All of those years playing this series, having it lift up my spirits during bad times, the most anticipated game of the series arrived. Let me tell you, I cried throughout the whole game. And when the game ended, I cried, and despite the game having its flaws, I enjoyed every bit of it. After I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was over, suddenly they announced a DLC for KH3 letting you play as Riku, Roxas, and Aqua, and even Kairi. It also continues the series a year after the third game, where Kairi is in a coma, Riku is looking for Sora and Data, and Sora is fighting the most annoying secret boss in the whole Kingdom Hearts series, Yozora. And I had to say this to Yosora. Fuck you. I love you, but I hate you. You can see me winning against him here after 47 losses. Last but not least, we got the last entry in the series. Melody of Memory, a Theatrhythm-style game where you are inside Kairi's head looking for clues about Sora. The clue? Some place called Quadratum, in a world outside of reality. Yeah, you can see my playthrough here. And with this, I conclude the story of how Kingdom Hearts has treated me throughout the years. I can already hear you saying, what about Dark Roads? Well, I want to finish it first, but let me just say before I finish, Nomura, I know what you did there, making the player the bad guy. I see that shit. But we won't have to wait too long though, cause it was announced a while back that it's gonna release on August. They also announced a new game that I'm really looking forward to, Missing Link. It's gonna be kinda like Union Cross, and just by the fact that I can create my own character, I'm very excited for that game. Alongside, they've also announced that Kingdom Hearts 4 is in development. I was trying to release this video before the Kingdom Hearts 20 anniversary event, but a massive blackout delayed my work and I had to postpone it till now. But the things that they showed on the event were incredible. You can see my reaction to the announcement trailer here. All in all, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and may your heart be your guiding key.